he's in a tough position, whether he's in a losing condition, somehow that retribution has been so reliable, and I think that's a threat if ONIC Esports ignore that. So I'm wondering whether or not they're going to try and shut it down, especially when it comes down to the drafting phase. As we get into it, the Luoyi gets banned by FCON Esports on blue side, as well as the Yves. Meanwhile, ONIC Esports go for the Granger. Now, I don't know. Do you think Suyo is a little too tough to leave open for FCON Esports to take?
Well, they have to go with the Chushin first because of the bans to the Luoyi and the Yves. Suyo, though, again, if they figure the two ways they can try and handle FCON Esports and a very reliable jungler like Dax is to take his tools away or make sure that your team has solutions, has ways to catch Dax, mid-movement, mid-rotation. And considering that you have Keyboy, right? Not just any roamer, one of the better roamers we've had so far in Indonesia, I feel like there is an argument to be made here for ONIC Esports to let Dax have maybe not his best weapons, maybe still ban like the Fanny, for instance. But then if it's like a Suyo, that can still be vulnerable, I think they can still rely on Keyboy to try and make those moments happen.
They definitely can try and trap the Suyo pick indeed. FCON Esports here, 3 mages, 2 mid laners, and a gold laner here. And you can see here, ONIC Esports, you called out the Fanny earlier, and it seems like, being second pick, you do not want to give the 3 heroes that were banned out by ONIC for free. FCON Esports, though, you mentioned the Suyo, should be their approach here. Solid pick.
Or they go Hayabusa again.
Ooh,
I don't know. It's something that FCON Esports did before. It worked out really well for them. The big question is, do they want to gamble on that pick again? The answer is no. Phoveus, first pick. So not the Suyo, nor the Hayabusa.
Well, this is a pick that Royal Milk is very comfortable on. I thought there was a possibility, but I really thought that for Falcon, the jungler would be that much more important. I thought ONIC Esports then would have picked up the Phoveus afterwards. But now without the Phoveus in the picture, if they really want to play for that retribution, they can go for the Suyo. It's almost guaranteed. And then they have shown the Moskov already, so very early on, wanting something reliable, something flexible to maybe stall out the game or make those plays happen with a bit of a flank with the Spear of Destruction.
I gotta be honest with you, I potentially the 2 heroes that were picked were the newcomers of ONIC Esports here. Hylos in the EXP, Moskov in that gold lane. So they're trying to secure the 2 heroes that, let's just secure the newcomers, quote unquote, just to have a solid foundation. Now, FCON Esports, classic combination here. Alpha and Mathilda. You expect Mathilda to just babysit throughout the course of the farming from Alpha. Let's see though, will ONIC Esports be able to dismantle that formation?
That's a big question, because now we also know that FCON Esports are also able to pull in a very classic kind of combination, right? Not only does the Matilda pair well with the Alpha, the Matilda also pairs really well for the Phoveus. So there is an escape, and he doesn't really have to commit to something like a flicker in order to get out of those one-ins.
Alright, I think I was gonna say, but with the mobility that the Matilda provides for Alpha and Phoveus, I would think that some kind of crowd control would be in order. But for ONIC Esports, they're gonna go for the Suyo first, and technically the Suyo can provide some kind of crowd control, but I think they're gonna try and find some more here, because otherwise, Moskov and Hylos are great, but overall, when it comes down to just chasing people down, especially against a Matilda, it's gonna be, I think, quite difficult, so they might try and find some more there.
Alright. But coming to the second phase, it looks like the main idea is to try and shut down the gold lane. Right, with the Granger and the Harith already a non-factor, they continue on the course with the Bruno takeaway, understanding that they did see the Bruno pickup coming into the Challenge Finals group stage.
Also, it's a great pair if you have a Mathilda on your team as well, right? So you mentioned the Alpha, the Phoveus as well, but the Mathilda and Bruno can also be overpowered in the composition. So let's see here, FCON Esports, they ban out the Aurora. They do not want a hero that can buy you time, a hero that can also that has huge AoE, right? So let's see here, ONIC Esports, will they commit to another gold lane ban here? I personally feel like they should, but no.
The Farsa.
They're going to delete the Farsa hero. we like to see whenever you have the Moskov, yeah, the Farsa is likely to be on the opponent's side.
So they were only really a bit careful about the Bruno. Afterwards, it's back to the mid lane. And now that Falcon Esports themselves have actually banned out another mid laner, that's going to look a bit confusing. If they're afraid of the big AoE, the lockdowns that can kind of stop the Alpha and the Phoveus, the Vexana is still in the picture. That's usually one of the counters for the Phoveus. And now it's going to be the Khalid actually. So curveballs upon curveballs here. First pick for ONIC Esports. It's going to be that Sicilian, man. Really rising in popularity.
Alright, so no stoppers. Despite Falcon going in for a really heavy dive-in kind of composition.
Well, technically, the Sanguine Claws, it is a bit of a stopper, technically, because it moves people forwards and backwards, depending on where on the claw they kind of land on. So if the idea is to kind of take the brunt of the impact on the Hylos and then use the Sicilian to layer on some of that crowd control, that can work. And man, that Vexana gets picked up by Falcon Esports instead. And speaking of late game scaling, it's going to be a carry to ensure that this Hylos is going to get melted immediately.
Debut pick.
Debut pick, and I somehow like it, but it's a gamble, right? Sure, you can melt down the Hylos. Sure, you can, especially with Mathilda, move around more freely. But that Sicilian can definitely be a problem for that carry. And ONIC Esports, they already somehow saw that coming, right? Forcing that carry to be on that Purify. So let's see how this carry can be an influence, because that Cho is going to be super annoying for that mid and as well as that gold lane.
There's definitely windows of error that is quite huge, I would say, for Falcon, especially with the carry being picked up in the gold lane. Before I throw it over to you to get into the game, also at some point answer that laning phase. Moskov versus carry. So boys, take it away.
Well, before you answer, Mr. Arashi, let's just jump into the Land of Dawn for Game 1. Last match of Stream C. It's ONIC Esports taking it on Team Falcon. Who do you got, folks? Vote in the chat. Land of Dawn, let's jump in.
All right. First of all, straight to the matchups here. I think Moskov actually has a better time technically against the carry. More ways to really, get some poke damage in, disengage immediately. My main concern for Falcon Esports though isn't the laning phase. I feel like they have great roaming. They have the Phoveus that we've seen be so oppressive in the EXP lane. I'm concerned that on Mathilda Airlines, there's a limited amount of room. It looks cool on paper to have the Alpha, to have the Phoveus, to have the carry, all able to take advantage of the Mathilda. But at the end of the day, in the middle of a fight, there's only one ticket available to be taken, and the coordination from Falcon needs to be on point to ensure that they get maximum value from it.
Oh, Keyboy has the purple. No purple for Dax, that's already a disadvantage, and now they're going for the invades. And now Benny here trying to poke Kyrie out, but Kyrie is sustainable enough, and first blood goes to ONIC Esports. What happened there? How did Keyboy get the purple buff?
Just Cho doing Cho things. A surprising amount of damage, surprising amount of mobility as well. That is why the Cho is just so annoying in the right hands. He went for the thrill as well, Goni, so there's an extra bit of punch there when he's trying to go for some of these maneuvers. And immediately, look at this. Falcon trying to assert their dominance, especially near the neutral objective.
Royal Milk stunned up, now he is stuck. He will have to use his flicker to get out, but Sanguine Claws caught Royal Milk in a situation. Still able to dash in and dash out of that situation. ONIC though, they are still applying pressure in that top lane. No flicker, that's the end for Royal Milk in a 3v1. Trying to buy time, trying to clear, but he will fall. Now ONIC Esports move on towards the turtle.
Clean execution here by ONIC, man. Every time they go for some kind of tower dive, the setup on the lanes, right, pushing it out already, making sure they have the rotational advantage. Everything was just set up so well right there. It seemed almost zero risk for ONIC Esports. And with that, they get the turtle. And despite the fact that Falcon Esports are the one with the fearsome Alpha Mathilda combo, because of the small victories ONIC Esports have gotten in the early game, they are the ones actually holding on to the lead.
Keyboy, as expected, very invasive And he is not afraid being up close and personal against Daxon as well as the Matilda. And yeah, just showing info. Oh, Spirit of Alpha committed though, but Keyboy knows his limits, knows the ranges, and he is able to get out without using his flicker.
And you're already seeing hints of the issues that Falcon Esports are going to face the longer the game goes. They have a very sad amount of range in their composition. If ONIC Esports get any kind of distance, get any kind of speed up even to get away from them, they have a very limited amount of reliable catch. If they want to use the Matilda, they can't do that, but that means that the in and out mechanic for the Alpha and Phoveus will no longer be there. So that means that there's a lot more pressure on Kid X to try and decide when and where is the right engagement going to be.
Let's see here. How will this midfielder, how will Kid X try to close the gap for the right targets, right? Because now it's just a face-off between the two roamers here. Kid X and Keyboy sharing both information regarding the whereabouts as well. And ONIC Esports are slowing down the tempo. I like this, right? They do not just go in like aggressively, recklessly. They know their calculation, and it seems like ONIC Esports, they are still in control. Bottom side though, Benji or Benny is just chilling.
Just trying to farm up as much as possible. In the mid lane though, PX7 almost falls victim. Royal Milk won't fall, but that's a lot of pressure, a lot of resources used up actually, and exactly right before the turtle spawns. Everything is calculated right now for ONIC Esports.
Look, P showing, and now it's going to be a brawl. That's the good Eternal's Guard on towards Zero. It seems like they have found the opening, but not the collapse. Royal Milk again looking for Sans, who used the flicker to get out of that situation. Dax, though, will apply pressure in that turtle and get it. Will they be greedy? Kyrie's in the area, and it does seem like Falcon Esports will not force. Oh, I might be wrong. Royal Milk finds an angle on towards Sans, who has no flicker. Savero uses spell as well, but on the other side is actually PX7 who goes down, and ONIC Esports was able to find the and capitalize.
Throughout the entire duration though, Benny is just beating on that turret, taking all the gold. But ONIC Esports, despite the fact that they really shouldn't be hardcore winning in the early game, considering the compositions, they're doing a great job going in and out, making it very confusing on as to where their attention is on. It seemed like for a second they're going to make a play with Savero, and then it turns out of nowhere, Keyboy was the one making a play with Kyrie. So Falcon Esports seem to be struggling to really identify and kind of understand where exactly ONIC Esports are trying to do, are trying to go.
It's because I believe they are behind gold as well. They want to funnel gold towards Benny. So it's quite tough here if you're in Falcon Esports' position to really commit on towards a fight or looking for the right angles. But ONIC Esports are holding off well. I mean, it's still a 2K lead, though. It's just a one team fight away where Falcon Esports just neutralize the situation, I feel like.
And technically, this is the most dangerous time for ONIC Esports, right? The mid-game with the Alpha and Phoveus and Vexana. So many things can go wrong here for ONIC Esports, and they have been playing it very dangerous. You would think they would kind of take the back seat, you know, see what Falcon does and readjust. But they've been trying to actually beat Falcon Esports and find ways to still come out on top.
Oh, that's an opening. Oh, they will not commit on towards the circling Eagle Kid X. Disengage. But that's info though, right? Matilda is low, and he might have to recall. But ONIC Esports seems like they will not shift their gears. It seems like they will take it slow as well.
All right, it's going to be a waiting game, but the tower actually fell on the top side of the map for Falcon Esports. So ONIC playing the slow game, making sure it's all calculated, but look at this.
Glorious Pathway, Sanguine Claws, Kyrie secures the turtle. Now it's going to be Lutpi sandbagging the damage, and he will fall. Now ONIC Esports with 4 will disengage, but they do get the turtle.
All things considered, that's no problem at all. They sacrifice the EXP technically, which isn't ideal, but 1 for the turtle, especially when they have a late game scaling hero on the Sicilian. And you have to remember, the Moscow wins out technically in the lane, more ways to kind of play that lane out, but Savero on this Moscow is gonna scale too. So they are just fine here, going for even trades. As long as they're not losing, eventually this Alpha and Phoveus are gonna run out of steam.
And you can see here both teams just taking down a notch. Sure, Glorious Pathway committed in that mid, but yeah, both teams got a turret, respectively top and bot. So yeah, they will take it slow. Gold-wise, not much has changed from earlier on, right? From the past 2 minutes, it seems like ONIC Esports still holding on for around 2K.
Again, the gold leaderboard, Sans still is up there as well, so he's getting a good amount, but look at Keyboy.
Yep, now he is taking a lot of heat and he will be taken down. Another disadvantage here if ONIC Esports wants to fight, so let's see here. What's the compensation? It seems like they got the turret bottom side.
We got a turret at the bottom, but on the top side, immediately moves from FCON Esports to try and clear, try and equalize on that disadvantage. But look at the bottom side. Savero making aggressive moves there.
Yeah.
He blinked forward, try and get some pressure on when clearing this wave. With 10 seconds to go, ONIC Esports are in a position to try and set up for some kind of split push. But you can see, even so, Savero is taking it very, very carefully, right? Making sure that he's on the side of ONIC Esports, avoiding any kind of pick-off threat, because the Mathilda can follow you to the ends of the world.
Yeah, I mean, rotation-wise, FCON Esports, they're not doing too bad themselves, right? Considering they're behind in economy, but they are able to respond on, well, yeah, okay, ONIC, you want the bot, let me get the top, and so on and so forth. Let me defend the bottom side when, of course, Pathway though, committed, and that is BX7, very low force to use that flicker. Spear of Misery does not land on towards the Mathilda, luckily, but Kyrie is on it. Kyrie is on the Lord. Sanguine Claws does not connect. It does seem like that is ONIC Esports just taking it slow on this Lord dance.
That's the Sicilian damage out of nowhere, man. It's only 9 minutes in, and it really feels like there's a lot more damage coming out of Sans. So probably the stacking game is clean as well, but look at this.
Circling Eagle with Dax earlier on. Doesn't really find the mark. And bottom side, Severo. He's split pushing, so that's info, right? I mean, ONIC Esports can continue on the push, but they need to delay this Lord take.
And Sans is just sending bad impacts out, but Lutpi is the one popping the Glorious Pathway.
Keyboy, half HP. And ONIC Esports here is looking for an angle. It seems like it will be the 50-50. Severo claims the turret, but Lutpi goes down first. Keyboy taking some heat, is able to get up, but Kyrie will not be able to survive as the Lord will be taken by Dax. FCON Esports claiming another win in that Lord objective take.
It was good while it lasted. Now only 1,000 gold ahead. ONIC Esports losing a bit of the steam that they had. All things considered, though, they are still having the advantage against a team comp that should be doing better in the early game. I guess they really felt like there was no need to really risk everything in that one moment to bring Savero into the fight as well. They're content to really go for that steal attempt and clear the Lord just like that. FCON Esports, despite the painstaking effort they used to really take and secure that Lord and get some advantages, they were really unable to use it for anything too meaningful.
Yeah, it was ONIC Esports. I think they knew that, yeah, you know, this is the first Lord. But then again, a very well done job by FCON Esports. Right? They know that Savero is in the bottom side. As long as that Spear of Misery doesn't land on important people, they should be fine. And Glorious Pathway popped. Bottom base turret, no, bottom mid turret. Also almost there, touched. But it's just the tier 2 in the bottom side that was actually taken down. And the Lord advantage is 6k. So yeah, as expected, one big team fight neutralizes the situation. And I gotta be honest with you, looking at the map, it is actually kind of blue right now.
It's kind of blue. There's so much pressure coming through. But ONIC Esports, you can see that they're still doing a respectable amount of damage. Sans in particular. Keyboy though.
Oh, Keyboy looking for an opening. That is Kid X very low. Keyboy 1 HP is able to get out as well without his flicker burnt. So again, a reset, another reset. But FCON Esports, man, they're showing their teeth here entering the 12th minute of the game.
That's a Malefic gun completed by Savero. That's more range. That's also more penetration. So the front line of FCON Esports needs to recognize the extra amount of damage coming through. And there's no Revitalize in the hands of Lutpi as well. It was used earlier. Keyboy!
Oh, I don't think you will survive this time. Keyboy will be down and out. And again, FCON Esports, they're able to capitalize. Take a look at the shred by Benny. Mid base turret. No, mid tier 2. Taken down like it was nothing.
There's definitely a lot of damage coming through for Falcon Esports. Again, we can bring this to the late game. The carry is going to be much more of a threat compared to the Moskov. But the big equalizer here is the Sicilian. Sans already is doing an insane amount. 3 or 4 bat impacts is enough to actually chunk Dax down to levels HP where he can't really actually participate actively in a fight. Look at his items there, the Wishing Lantern there. That's the main cause of the issue. One single bat impact can proc that Wishing Lantern twice or thrice. We talked about this before, and look at that.
An opening. Potentially, that's the circling eagle. Phobius looking to follow up, but that's a good guiding wind provided by Kid X. And now it's another reset. Though the Lord, take a look at the people around the Lord. That's what, 1, 2, 3, all 5 members of Falcon, and just 2 from ONIC. And Severo claimed the turret, but would be very low, taken down, but the Lord will be taken care of by Dex again. 2 members of ONIC has fall. Keyboy might be next. Oh my goodness, Sans! Very low on mana as well as HP, but he survives and he manages to get back safely.
2 members down for ONIC Esports, but a base turret claimed by Severo on the top side. Now, they have good high ground. They have that Sicilian to really supplement the wave clear, but Falcon are going to try and force the issue.
It's a 5v3. It's a disadvantage plus the Lord. Take a look at Sans. Dived in Keyboy trying to defend his friend, but the Lord taken care of here in the mid lane. Oh my goodness. The damage from the side of ONIC Esports will not be underestimated, but yeah, that's just a mid base turret here. Cost the Lord as well, and ONIC Esports, they were able to just hit the reset button.
That was kind of close for both teams. I mean, if ONIC Esports were a bit late to the defense, Falcon Esports could have ended there. And for Falcon, they backed out literally at the last second. If they overstayed just a bit longer, ONIC Esports would have picked up a bunch of shutdowns, got on a bunch of momentum, but now it's going to be the opposite situation. Goes Pathway.
Good momentum break with the Vexana. And it does seem like ONIC Esports, they were able to just get one tier 1 in that mid. So again, both teams here just taking it slow. 80 seconds is the timer for that next Lord. So yeah, both teams here, perhaps they might just like bait out a couple of spells, bait out a couple of maybe items here before the real fight. And that is the Lord.
On that matter, I guess that for the mid lane, I think ONIC has a bit of an advantage. All Sans has to do is just keep sending out bat impacts at an appropriate time, whereas for PX7, it's a lot easier for ONIC to try and find a way to kind of force him to use that Eternal Guard. And if that actually gets done, it's going to be a bit more difficult. So for ONIC Esports, I feel like they just have to play around the Sicilian. Right? If Sans can stay at a good position, can land that bat impact on multiple members again and again, it could be their key to victory. Because when it comes down to a single target DPS, I think right now, Benny of Team Falcon can outdamage anyone.
The timing is going to be very crucial here for both teams, ONIC Esports and Falcon, because if Benny shows up too early, I believe ONIC Esports will have the tools to punish and capitalize on the positioning. Let's see though, gold equal. And as well as, yeah, sure, kill-wise, almost equal. Falcon Esports has a slight edge, but the Lord now is up.
That's the big question here, because with the Moskov, again, there's the split push threat, but with the carry, Falcon Esports also has the Lord rushdown threat. They can shred the Lord down so fast that it would kind of force ONIC Esports to scramble into position, and that is the last thing they want to do against a team that understands how to position for a team fight like this.
See here, the Lord is very crucial, ladies and gentlemen. This Lord can make or break game 1. Falcon Esports, they're taking it slow. They know if they move too hastily, Severo is ready to split push. He took down the base turret top lane earlier. What's stopping him to take down the bottom side if it were not taken care of? Let's see here. ONIC Esports also just waiting for information.
Keep your eyes open on Keyboy here. He hasn't really been as active on the Cho so far, but in a moment like this is exactly where you would expect Keyboy to make a play happen.
Forcing out the Spear of Alpha. That's another info here. But yeah, spells all intact here from both teams, from 10 players. And Lord is just being toyed around here. And no teams committed on towards taking the Lord, though it is half HP.
Oh, I think Falcon Eastern might go for it, but look at this.
Force Pathway, Spear of Missouri, and there you go. Severo jumping in. Dax taken care of. Kyrie looking for the retreat, finds it in the back lane. It is actually the Phoveus who is taken down. That's 1, 2, and 3 members of Falcon Esports down and out.
How do you play it that close? Every single member, almost all the important ones from ONIC Esports, were at a sliver of HP, but they're able to kite back, they're able to phase out that damage. Everything happened at the last second, the least possible ideal second. And just like that, 3 members down, ONIC Esports going for the end.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is just 2 members defending. And with Severo still in play, ONIC Esports will claim Game 1.
Oh man, what was that, Goni? Everything seemed so slow until it's not. It really felt like at that moment,